We're here for the thoughts and review for UFC 223, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Iaquinta, and I am just now heading back home from the fight. I was watching it at my friend's house. The Gage, we did the predictions earlier. I was from his house. I'm driving right now, so that's why I'm dark, or that's why it's dark in here. But just bear with me. I promised I'd give you guys thoughts and reviews, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I know it's late, but it'll be on YouTube, so you'll be able to see it tomorrow or whenever y'all watch it. So let's go ahead and get on into this. So first of all, before we get started, all I wanted to say is make sure you guys turn on the notifications for my YouTube channel and subscribe, so then when we go live like this, you don't miss it. Obviously, right now it is late, so I can see why no one tunes in. But anyways, this what a card, man! Like for having a card with no name people on it, not really like popular people, it definitely exceeded expectation in my opinion. I enjoyed it. We didn't buy it, but I watch all the pay-per-views. So I mean, even if I don't buy it, I'll still watch it, whether it's whether I go to my friend's house and they buy it or we fire stick it or something. But I watch all the pay-per-views. But yeah, man, like I actually enjoyed this card a lot. All fight really good, except the main event, which we'll get into when we get there. But starting off with the main card, we had Joe Lozon fighting, and he was fighting a kind of a no-namer. I didn't really know him, but this dude put on the beating on Joe Lozon from start to finish. Joe Lozon run the first 20 seconds, and he caught him, and he stunned him. But then after that, it was all that guy, man. I think his name was Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not good with these last names. These people's last names are crazy, man. Like this Russian dude, the beat. I don't even know how to say his last name, but he's crazy. They have crazy last names. I don't know how to pronounce them. So I don't even bother pronouncing them. But I think his name was Chris, and he dominated Joe Lozon, elbows, punches to the body. Like he was just piecing him up, man. And Joe Lozon was taking it. I was getting a little pissed during the fight because I was just like, man, how are you gonna let Joe Lozon take that beating just in the fight? They finally ended it after the second round where he was just getting humbled, man. It was bad. So they finally stopped it after me screaming at the TV stop the freaking fight. But they finally did it. So Joe Lozon ended up getting dominated, and I mean he's probably being done, or he's probably getting close to being done with his career. I mean, he's 34 years old, not getting any younger, taking beatings in previous fights. Not the only fight he's taking a beating. But, I mean, it is what it is. So, that other guy got a dominant win over him, so good for him. And then the next fight we had was the Beat. He was fighting another kind of no-name guy, and this was a great fight. This is where the card started getting really good. I enjoyed the Lozon fight, even though it was a beatdown. It was still pretty entertaining to watch them go at it. But dude, the Beat and this guy put on the show, man. This guy might have been. I think this guy's name was Zach or something like that. But dude, they were going at it, man. They were swinging. They were hitting each other with shots, and the Beat ended up getting the unanimous decision win. But they were swinging back and forth, especially at the end. The other guy stuck his tongue out at him, and then they just started swinging at each other. And man, this is that's my kind of fight. And so I loved it. I loved it from start to finish. It was a great fight. One thing I will say is that what we've learned from this whole card is that Russians need to work on their striking, man. They are known for their wrestling, and they cannot strike. We saw in this Russian fight. So, I mean, definitely need to work on their striking. But this guy's striking wasn't bad, but they were just going at it, man. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And this was easily fight of the night at that time. So I said it's gonna be hard to match it. And then we had the next fight. We had Calvin Kattar, upcoming star, fighting kind of another upcoming star, and that was don't even know how to say his last name. I don't even want to try to like say his last name because I know I'm gonna mess it up. But Calvin Guitar fought him, and this was a good fight. Calvin was hitting him with some good shots early in the fight, but then he started he ended up getting his leg chopped off by this guy. So he was getting his leg pummeled, and Marciano, I think that's how you say it, Marciano, he was eating up Calvin Guitar's leg, or Calvin Cater, and Calvin Cater, like, he was getting whooped, man. So, but I do give him props for taking that. I mean, he was tough. He was taking the shots, even though he was losing. I would say it was a pretty dominant performance for Marciano. He got the win over Calvin Cater, number 11 versus number 13. I took a risk on my predictions, and I picked Calvin Cater to win, but Marciano ended up getting the win. And that was another great fight that could have been fight of the night. I don't think it was as good as the Zabit fight, but it was really good. So right now, at this point, I'm ready into this pay-per-view. I'm loving it. I'm loving these fights. They're great. All three fights have been solid, really good. And then we have the fight that I was looking forward to the most before Khabib and Ferguson got canceled, of course. But Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the women's strawweight rematch. And we all saw what happened in the first fight. Joanna got very emotional leading up to the fight, and she got caught, and we didn't really get to see Rose tested. Now, going into that first fight, I thought Rose was going to get dominated. I feel like, because I saw her fight earlier with the Ultimate Fighter when she was still really young, and she was, like, very emotional, and I feel like she was still really young, and she has gotten so much better. Let me tell you that. Like, Rose has improved so much. Like, I'm amazed with how much she's improved. Like, her footwork's amazing. Her striking is, like, the way she moves in and out and exchanges her strikes. Dude, she's good, man. Like, she's the real deal. And I knew Joanna was more focused this fight, so I picked Joanna to win, but I did not realize that Rose Namajunas got this good. Like, I think she just needed to mature a little bit as a fighter, but compared to how she was, like, with the Ultimate Fighter, she's a way different fighter now, way more mature, way better striker, just all-around better fighter, different Rose Namajunas. And she had a very good fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. This was a great fight. I loved it. A lot of people are mad about the whole decision. I am a little bit mad of how the judges scored it. I don't think it should have been a 49-46. That was a little over the top. I feel like Rose won the first two rounds and pretty easily, and then Joanna won the next two with leg kicks. She was eating up her legs, and then the fifth round, it really came down. I had a 2-2 going into the fifth round, and it really came down to that takedown at the end that Rose had. And on the stat sheet, Joanna did dominate on the stat sheet technically with her striking, but honestly, no. Like, it was not. She didn't dominate. Like, compared to the stat sheet, it was not like that. I saw the fight. If you watch the fight, you know that Rose Namajunas did enough to win that fight. She got the takedown in the end of the fifth round. She was able to mix her exchanges. She was getting the better of exchanges in the striking. Joanna was missing a lot. Rose was just moving well. She did slow down after those leg kicks in the third and fourth round, but she ended up getting a groove going. And I feel like Joanna just wasn't landing the bigger shots on her. I feel like Rose was more accurate on her striking, even though the stat sheet says otherwise. I feel Rose did enough to win, so I don't feel it was a bad decision. I do feel like the scorecards could have been way different. I would have said, a lot closer, but I feel like Rose won 3-2. But man, this probably was fight of the night in my opinion. This was the best women's fight I've ever seen in my life. It was so good. Both of them looked great tonight. Joanna looked great. Rose looked great. I'm interested to see where Rose goes next. I want to see Rose maybe fight Claudia. That'd be a good fight. Let me know who y'all think Rose should fight next. But that was a great win for Rose. She proved that she's the real deal. And as far as Joanna, she's still a stud. So she'll probably dominate the rest of the people in the division again, like she did before Rose. So yeah, I'm excited to see this. But this fight, man, it was intense from start to finish. I loved it. And by then, this is 4 cards right here. this is four matches right here that are already amazing, and that I've loved. And it's hard to decide who's fight of the night, but I came to the agreement that this Rose versus Joanna was fight of the night for sure. And then we had the main event. This is where kind of the pay-per-view just fell off. It doesn't. This is where like it kind of like just got dull for a little bit because of the Khabib fight. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Iaquinta, the main event. A lot of people aren't impressed with Khabib. I'm not either. I mean, now, like thinking about like the whole stand-up game with Khabib. Now that I think about it, I feel like Tony Ferguson would have beat Khabib pretty easily, and I had Khabib winning that fight too. Unless Khabib just had the game plan of taking him down, I don't see Ferguson losing that fight at all after watching this fight. Iaquinta, you're telling me a guy who was preparing for a 3-round bout against Paul Fielder, and 5 days notice, not 3 days notice, something like that, and Khabib still couldn't finish him. I feel like Khabib, if he would have just wrestled him, so I'm kind of 50-50 with this. I give Khabib respect for standing up the fight and wanting to like improve on his striking and try to knock him out to not bore the fans with just a 5-round squash match the whole time. But so I do give him props for that. But at the same time, like it just shows like how like exposed his stand-up game is. It needs a lot of work, that's for sure. If he fought Conor McGregor and did that game plan with the stand-up in those later rounds, Conor would have slept him easily. But see, the thing is, you can't say that because Khabib wouldn't do that with Conor. He would go in there and he would take him down easily and then just pound him. So, if I think Khabib just knew like he was way better than Iaquinta, so he just wanted to and not boo the fans. So I just think he wanted to work on his stand-up. Stand-up, not good. I mean, yeah, he dominated him. It's not like he didn't dominate him, but just man, his stand-up is just it was not good at all. I mean, yeah, Iaquinta, there's nothing he could do, but just not good stand-up from at all, and it really didn't impress the fans at all. Despite, I mean, a lot of people like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was like a little biased, like this whole night with like his commentating, and he said that he like during the fight, it seemed like he wanted Iaquinta to win like the whole time, and then at the very end, he said, well, he dominated, and I love this fight. So I'm like, well, you kind of contradicted yourself there. So this was definitely probably the worst fight of the night was Khabib versus Iaquinta. He basically just dominated him the whole fight, and we got to see that his stand-up was weak. So a lot of people were wondering, oh, well, Ferguson, Conor would have slept this man. And I agree if it was standing up. But obviously he would have a different game plan. So that was kind of the low of the night was the main event. A little disappointed, but hey, the whole card itself was amazing. I loved every fight except the main event. I enjoyed it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole card. I think it exceeded expectations, especially with some of these no-namers putting on a show. And you never know what you get when you go to a UFC fight. So as far as and one more thing, Khabib called out GSP at the end of his fight, and it's like no one wants to watch that match. They literally just wrestle each other the whole time. So it's like fight Conor, like beat up Conor or something. Like I would like to see that. But as far as that goes, that's gonna do it, guys. A little late at night. Appreciate those people that tuned in tonight, especially that one person in right now. Appreciate you. We'll have more post fights, more predictions, WrestleMania stuff coming, WWE, UFC, all that good stuff. So y'all stay tuned. I haven't been active in a couple days. We're gonna start streaming Fortnite again. Not a couple days, a couple weeks. My bad. We'll start streaming Fortnite, like streaming. I want to stream again. And yeah, just let me know. Turn on the notifications so when we go live, you don't miss it like this. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what y'all thought about this whole thing, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.